For over 100 years, the world believed in a place called Sandy Island. Seriously, it was right there on our maps, a fixed point in the Coral Sea. And then, one day, it just wasn't. This is the wild story of a place everyone agreed was real until we actually tried to go touch it. It's a pretty unsettling question, isn't it? I mean, we think of geography as this solid, permanent thing. Mountains don't just get up and move. And islands, well, they're not supposed to just vanish. But this one did. Or more accurately, we finally discovered it was never there to begin with. Okay, so this slide just lays the mystery bare. On the left, what our digital world showed us, a landmass the size of Manhattan, a big solid black shape on Google Earth. And on the right, the actual physical truth, absolutely nothing. Just open ocean, plunging nearly a mile deep. So what was going on? How did this digital phantom even happen? We're going to unpack this whole thing as a kind of modern ghost story, but we're not talking about haunted houses here. We're talking about haunted data, a glitch in the matrix of our modern world that really makes you question what you see on your screen. Think about it for a second. We don't navigate by the stars anymore. We navigate by screens. We put this almost blind faith in that little blue dot telling us where we are. We just assume if the map shows a road, there's a road. If it shows an island, there's an island, right? Well, Sandy Island is this huge reminder that sometimes the map is just a reflection of other maps. So how did a mistake like this survive for 136 years? This wasn't just some recent Google error. The origin of this phantom island goes way, way back before the internet, to the age of sail and whaling ships. This timeline just lays it all out. It all starts in 1876 with a report from a whaling ship called the Velocity. By 1908, that report gets solidified on official British naval charts. It's legit now. But here's the real kicker. In the 1990s, when we started digitizing all these old paper maps, the Phantom Island was copied right along with all the real data. For 136 years, this error just got passed down completely unquestioned. So let that sink in for a moment. When you saw that black blob on Google Earth, you weren't looking at a satellite photo. You were seeing a digital echo of a whaler's logbook entry from 1876, a literal ghost in the machine. All right, so this brings us to the climax of the story. After 136 years of existing on paper and on pixels, a team of scientists on an Australian research ship finally decided to sail to the exact coordinates to see what was actually there. Can you just imagine the confusion on the bridge of that ship? Their navigation charts are screaming, "Land ahead, you're going to hit an island." But their depth sensors are telling a completely different story. 1,400 meters of water. That's almost a mile deep. It is physically impossible for an island to be there. So they sailed right over the coordinates where this Manhattan-sized island was supposed to be, and they saw nothing but open ocean. The crew made this simple but incredibly powerful log entry, officially undiscovering a place that had been on world maps for over a century. And the reaction was immediate. I mean, once the news broke, the digital world just corrected itself. Google, National Geographic, all the map authorities, they quietly pushed out updates. The block blob was painted over with blue pixels. Poof! Sandy Island was erased. But that still leaves one huge question. If there was never an island, what in the world did the crew of that whaling ship, the Velocity, actually see back in 1876? They weren't just making it up. Well, scientists have a really fascinating and pretty plausible theory. The most likely culprit is something called a pumice raft. When an underwater volcano erupts, it can shoot out tons of the super light, porous rock that floats. And these rafts can be enormous, miles and miles wide. And from the deck of a ship, they look almost exactly like a sandy shoreline. So here's probably how it all went down. An eruption creates this huge floating island of rock. The Velocity sails by, its crew sees what they think are sandy islets, and they mark it on their chart. Then they sail on, and eventually, that raft just breaks apart and sinks. But the mark on the map? That stays. And that one little mistake gets copied and copied and copied again until it ends up on all of our screens. Okay, so we've solved the mystery, but why does the story of a ghost island still resonate so much? What's the bigger takeaway here for all of us who rely on digital information every single day? At the end of the day, Sandy Island teaches us that our data isn't always a direct line to the truth. A lot of times, it's just an echo of older data. It shows us how easily an error can become fact if you just repeat it enough times. And it reveals how fragile digital information really is, how a place can be erased from our collective reality with just a few keystrokes. It's a call to be just a little more critical of the data we take for granted.
And this is the thought I really want to leave you with. We've seen how a 136-year-old mistake created a digital phantom that millions of people just accepted as real. So it makes you wonder, doesn't it? If our world map can contain ghosts, what other information that we trust without question might just be the echo of some long-forgotten mistake?